Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you came back to visit with me and build a card. Yeah, so if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy that you're here, and if you're returning, as I said, I'm glad to have you back. I apologize for not being here and getting this uploaded last week, late in the week, like I usually do, but Cami has been a little bit needier, and I gotta, to be honest, I'm not sure how consistent my videos will be here for a while because she really does need some attention. And if you're new, we have an older dog, a senior dog, and she got another tumor, and she's already had one, two, three surgeries to take tumors, and so now we have another one, and she just really needs attention. So, sorry, should have taken a swig before I started here. I actually had all my little pieces stamped last week, but I couldn't get them. I ended up having to sit beside her and color them all, and then I couldn't get back up here to die cut them all. So I did that this morning, and I've already had to leave a couple of times to run back down and see what she needed. So hopefully I can get through this card without her getting too fussy. We're sort of sidestepping on my stamping A to Z, still using an old set, and this is one that I had put aside when we were in the bees because we weren't at Easter. Well, now we're at Easter. So I wanted to use the basket bunch, and as I had mentioned, one of my popular videos, and it's not like I have a lot of subscribers or viewers, but the one that was a little bit more popular was the pillar pop-up window. And so I wanted to do that again and make sort of a little scene card with maybe my Easter bunny and a basket. This stamp set came with coordinating dies called Basket Builder Framelit dies. And there were 22 dies in this set. So I had a lot of die cutting I did today. And I didn't realize I was losing my voice. Again, craziness. So I'm going to use Fresh Freesia, which is a really pretty, I think, Eastery purple. And I used, I used this pattern paper and this pattern paper. Is that what I used? Yep. That's it. That's what it is. And that was from, this is Stampin' Up paper that was called Dainty Flowers. And I do believe that was a 2024 or the end of 2023 pack of paper. So it may still be available. I'm not sure. My Stamping A to Z project has been to try to use a lot of my stamp sets that I acquired over the years as a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And I am not any longer a demonstrator, but I do still have all these sets. And so I want to get my use out of them. This one I did use somewhat, but it did get kind of involved with all the die cut. So it's not one that I go to frequently, but I do use it. And I did a practice card because I had made this card last fall, or the fall before, and had some concerns about the pillars that we use to make this fold down and stand up. So I did want to practice it again. Now my design's in here because, like I said, I didn't have time to do all that die cutting ahead of time. These were some stickers that came in an Easter kit, I think from Brutus Monroe or something one year. And these were Doodlebug stickers. This was a die cut. So I just stuck my stickers in there so that I would have a bit of a scene to see what I was doing with my card. Okay. So I'll give you the dimensions of all of the card pieces as we go along, but just know that I will include those in the description box below your video or to the side, whatever you're viewing on. So you'll have those. You won't have to try to remember. I have everything cut except for this frame because I do want to show you how to cut the pieces out for the frame, which aren't really too hard. And I don't think I scored the pillars yet. I just cut the cardstock out for that. So these are all my little die cut pieces that I stamped them, and I just stamped them all in smoky slate and then used various colors of alcohol markers to color them in, and then die cut each one little piece out. And I thought we could make a little scene back there in our window. So I'm going to start with a piece of, this is the fresh Freesia. And our base, this is going to be a 5x7 card, by the way. This is going to take a larger envelope. It's not just the quarter card. So this base is 5x7. It'll be 5 inches vertically, 7 inches horizontally. And then I picked a pretty pattern paper that was 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then another pattern paper that lays on top of that, that is 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. And we can glue these 3 layers together and then set them aside. Then for the part that's going to be in the background of our window, I have that same pattern paper, which I think I'm calling pattern 1 and pattern 2, just to avoid some confusion. So my pattern 1 paper again is 5 by 4 3/4, and pattern 2's paper is 4 3/4 by 4 1/2. That way. We do have to make sure that these are not square, they are a rectangle, so you have to make sure you line those up correctly. And then a solid panel that's going to go in the center of that to put all of our little pieces on. And that is 4 1/2 by 4 1/4. Then, if you don't have die cuts and you just want to stamp some images in here, that would be great. You can use just a piece of white and layer it on there and stamp your greeting and your images, color them in, or whatever you want to do. And this is 4 1/4 by 4 that fits in that center, leaving you a nice even frame around there. I don't think I'm going to use that, but I did want to have one ready to show you how it would fit in the middle. Excuse me. And then for our pillars that we're going to make, you'll need 2 of these, and this is the same color as our card base and the center. And these are 3 1/4 by 5. So we'll score those. And I happened to think the other day, when I couldn't get up here, it was driving me nuts, it probably would have been better to leave this one long piece and score it and then cut it in half, because then my score marks would have been the same. Because you know how even when you use your scoreboard, once in a while you can be off just a tidbit. And sometimes that makes all the difference in the world. And I think that's what was going on when I first did this project back in the fall. And I used these cute little critters. There were squirrels and owls, and they were raking up a pile of leaves. And it was a cute card. The video, I still have the video out there on my YouTube channel. And but I really was struggling with the pillars lying down flat so that the card would fit into the envelope. And I'm just thinking it was because the pillars weren't really scored evenly. So let's get our background pieces just all stuck together here. And then we'll make our little window. Okay. This is the center that we're going to put our little bits on. Now, our pattern 1 has a 1-inch frame. That would be sort of that green and blue bubbly wrap one. That's a 1-inch frame around here. And then the second frame is a 3/4 inch frame. So that leaves us a little bit of a border behind all sides. Trimmer. And I'm going to lay my trimmer sideways. Hopefully we will be able to see all of the measurements. Oh, I did cut out from that same set. I had a little bit of green scrappy paper here, and there's a die in there to cut grass. So I cut out a few pieces of grass that we can stand the bunny in. All right, so our background one, which is pattern 1, is going to have a 1-inch frame. And this one, find my correct measurements to tell you. I could just measure it again. 5 by 4 3/4. 5 by 4 3/4. Okay, so if we want to have a 1-inch frame, and this is, I might have to move all of these things. Thoughts and Prayers is our next A to Z stamping project set that we're going to use. So I had it sitting out here, but I want to get to all my little die cuts. Can we see? Oh, good, we can see. Okay, so on the side of my trimmer there is a 1-inch mark, and if I want to make a 1-inch frame, I just have to move my paper over to that 1-inch mark. And then I'm going to bring my blade down to the 1-inch mark on this ruler guide. And close my guide. Now this is 4 3/4 inches long, and since I'm making a 1-inch frame, I'm going to stop my blade at 3 3/4. And I will probably repeat these measurements out loud each time I turn this, just to remind myself what I'm doing. Okay, so then we're going to turn, and this is on the 5-inch side. Is that correct? No, it's on the 4 3/4 inch side. We're going to move it over to the 1-inch mark, past the cutting blade here. Take the blade and go back to my guide at 1 inch. This is 5 inches long, and if I'm making a 1-inch frame, that means I have to stop on the 4. So I'll cut down to the 4 and stop and lift, turn it over to the 1, get my blade back onto my 1-inch mark on the guide, and close my guide. This is 3 3/4. I'm sorry, 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut down to 3 3/4. Lift, turn, slide my paper over to the 1-inch. My scoring blade keeps falling out there. Back at the 1-inch mark for our cut. Down to, we're on the 5-inch side, so we're going to stop at 4. Lift. Oop, I got a little piece right there. Oh, scissors. I don't want to pull it and tear it. Come on, snip. Here we go. And there we have our 1-inch window. I should say 1-inch framed window. Window frame. Frame of a window. The outside part. Okay. So now we need to do our inside part. And this is 3/4 of an inch. So it's the same thing. This is 4 1/2. That's looking like, check my paper. 4 3/4 by 4 1/2. Yep. So we're going to move it over to the 3/4 inch mark now, because I want a 3/4 inch frame. I'll start my blade at the 3/4 inch line on my guide. I have a 4 3/4 inch side over here that I'm cutting. I'm taking off 3/4 of an inch for my frame, so I have to go to 4 and stop. Turn, go to the 3/4 inch mark, 3/4 of an inch on my guide, Now I have 4.5. I want 3/4 off of that. 1, 2, 3, which makes it 3 3/4. 3 3/4 and left. Turn it. Go to the 3/4 mark. See, I told you I was going to have to repeat it. Otherwise, I'll start cutting it at 1 inch. 3/4. I have 4 3/4, so I'm going to 4, lift, 3/4, down to 3 3/4 again, and lift. And there's our 3/4 inch frame. And these are still perfect then to make another little card somewhere. All right. And this is what our frame will look like. Pretty cool. It wasn't that hard. Excuse me. So while we have this out, let's score our pillars. So I'll take my cutting blade away. Get my 2 fresh Freesia panels back up here. And these were 3 1/4 by 5. Three and a quarter. We're going to keep the short edge along the top of our trimmer. Okay. And we're going to start scoring at 3/4 inch. One and a half. Two and a quarter. 2 1/4. And 3. And that's going to give us this tiny little piece at the end that we'll be able to glue our pillars shut. So do the second one. And we have our 3 1/4 inch edge at the top. And we'll start scoring at 3/4. 1 1/2. 2 1/4. And 3. This paper is nice and thick. That's why I'm going over it several times here, because I am going to have to fold all these. So I want to have a nice crease in there. And then we can start folding on our score lines. We want to make sure we have a nice crease. So I hope you're all doing well and that the weather is being a little cooperative wherever you are. We finally have a bit of a sunny day. This is Monday morning for me. As I said, I tried to get this video done on Friday. Yeah, I actually started it last Wednesday. So this is taking forever. And then the edge of our pillar is going to meet up with the fold of that tiny little piece right there. So we're just going to glue that. I probably should use one of the newer Tombow glue bottles I have. It's not quite as yucky looking as this one is. This one's been used and abused. So I'll just close that. And what I want to do here is make sure that this is going to fold both ways on the score lines without giving me any trouble. And I think this is the key part of doing this pillar window. So it is going to lie flat. Yay. And we could just keep going. These pillars come in handy making a lot of different kinds of cards. I actually have seen where they have used these pillars and just put like 5 of them together. I think it was like 5. I don't remember. I'll have to try it one time. And then it folds flat, but then it pops up and makes this really pretty little fold. I'll have to try it. Right? No harm in trying. That's what keeps it fun. Yeah, so Saturday I wanted to go to a fundraiser event that I'd had a ticket for. And so one of us is always trying to stay here with Cammie. So Cam had decided that by the time I got home Saturday afternoon from that, and then I had church and religious ed on Sunday, that by yesterday afternoon I wasn't leaving her sight. And I had taken some fabric I have to the kitchen table. I thought maybe I could at least cut out my... I didn't think I was recording for a minute. I was going to start crying. Anyways, I thought maybe I could cut the pieces that I need for my next stitching project. And just was. I think I got 2 pieces of fabric to go cut. Not even put together, just cut. That's all. 2 little pieces. Well, I guess it's 2 more than I had when I started, right? So now the fun part comes where we can decorate this, and you can decorate this any way you want to. Now, just like I cut out all of those little die cut pieces for today's card, I have done so in the past, and I have a little bag of Easter die cuts here left over, and there is a Happy Easter already heat embossed in white on a deep purple. I think this might have been Fresh Fig, if I'm not mistaken. And that greeting came from Fable Friends. Got washi on there. Oh, you know what? That was one thing I wanted to remind you. But here's my Easter greeting. So you can use this one too for anything. When you're die cutting, let me grab one of my papers. And you have I have the magnetic plate on my Big Shot, but sometimes it moves my dies around a little bit. So I do oftentimes put a piece of washi tape on my die when I'm going to run it through. And I don't know if you can see a couple of the tear marks here, but this is what I wanted to remind you. When you have your dies on here, if you're going to use washi, don't put your tape over your die onto your stamped image. Try to keep this washi tape on your die facing to the outside, because oftentimes the washi tape will decide to stick to your paper. Now, if you have that on your already stamped and colored image, when you go to take that off, you could ruin your image. But if you have it on the outside here of your die onto the scrap paper part, your die cut piece should punch right out without having any sticky stuck on there. But that's just I like to remind everybody once in a while, because I see a lot of people put their washi tape across the the whole image, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope that doesn't stick. Oh, they're going to be really upset. Okay, so, and I did forget to mention, if you have a directional pattern, this one was, because it has flowers going up and down. This one doesn't matter on this side because the polka dots, you see the little polka dots? They don't really matter. But if I had used the other side, this would be messed up, because my stems are going up and down, and this isn't the right way of the frame. It would have to go that way. But I'm using the polka dots, so it didn't matter. So be careful with your directional paper. And just another reminder. I just feel bad when, even for myself, oh, that one's done. When you're making a card and you're working real hard at getting all the pieces together that you need, and you go to put it together and realize that you've either cut it on the wrong side, or your pattern isn't going to go in the right direction, or I've just now ripped my die cut pieces that I spent all day fixing. It's not that we can't do it again, it is just paper, but it's a little disheartening when you've put some time into it. Yeah. Oh, those were I was going to say, what do I do with these? Nothing. Nothing. All right. Now, do I have my little red ruler? Yeah. I have found that it's easier for me to lay this solid piece on my background before I add my pillars. And because I have my grid paper covered up here, I just need my ruler so that I can try to get this centered. And I have 1 1/8, and I have, oh, not quite 1, so I'm a little off. Thinking this should be 1 inch, but I'm not sure. Let's see. All right. Yay! So this is 1 inch on either side of your centerpiece to the first pattern. Yay! So far, so good. Now, let's just make sure our pillars that we cut and folded are the same height as our card base. Looking good. Looking good. I guess now it would be whatever you feel most comfortable doing. If you want to add your window decorations inside before you add your frame, I like to add my frame. And then, oops. Do you see what I did after telling you about the directional paper? I did. Oh my goodness, I cut it the wrong way. This one, the background one, the one that makes a difference. How fast can she do it again? Yeah, what was I thinking? Oh, as I was saying anyways, you can decorate your background piece, or I just put my window on and my pillars, and then use my, where are you? My little reverse tweezers, and I'm able to put all of the pieces down into that window where I want them. There it is. So we'll need them. All right. See, I left that paper out here for a reason, I guess. Trimmer. So I did this one 5 inches that way. I need 5 inches this way, but is this going to be wide enough? 5 by 4 3/4. Oh, it will. 5. And I'll make sure I did this right before I start gluing it together. Or did I just cut it wrong again? Nope, that's right. Okay. Well, we'll save that for another card then. Oh, but I need, oh, good. I was going to say, I need another polka dot piece then. And this is 4 3/4 by 4 1/2. Didn't matter which way this one went. 4 3/4. You get to watch me do a frame again. 4 1/2. And this was a 3/4 inch frame. I was just listening. I couldn't tell if that was someone at the door or if the cat's scratching downstairs. And I do believe it's the cat. Well, if it was the door, I think I'd have a lot of doggies barking. 3 3/4. I know Sissy picked her head up too because she heard something. And back to the 3/4 inch mark. Whoop, there a little bit more. And down to the 4, up, over to the 3/4, and down to the 4. No, I went too far. It's okay. I'm not going to be able to see that one. I have a little bit of a split right there. That's okay because I can put my Happy Easter over it. Now this one is a 1 inch frame. 2 4 inches and stop. 1 inch. 3 3/4. 4, I'm reading this upside down, 4 3/4, 2. So we have to go to 3 3/4 and stop. 2 4, stop. 2 3 3/4 and stop. So then I was finally, when I had the time to get up here and start putting this stuff together, or cutting out all my little bits, I guess that's what I was doing, and hubby called and wanted to know if my son stays with Cam tonight, do I want to run over to Menards with him? No, not really. There's not anything I want, but I guess it probably would be nice to get out of the house with him for a little bit, huh? So, I wasn't gonna try to do my hair today. After I got my shower, I just dried it and pulled it up in a clip. But now that's gonna change. I gotta go do my hair. And, yep, got that right side up because you can see a little bit of my flowers in the background. That's better. My pillars actually fit the length of the window. And I think this is where I glued it together. I want that to be on the underneath side. So I'll add a little bit of glue. Make sure I have this right side up and get that onto our 1 inch frame. And I need a bone folder here so that I can get that stuck on there. Okay. And then the second one. We'll do the same thing. Put this on the other side. Try not to stick my hand in it too much. Make my top and bottom edges even. Okay. Okay. So far so good. If I wouldn't have messed up my pattern frame there, I would really have been on a roll. But, you know, we can fix it, right? Trying to get the glue off my finger. And I can see my flowers are right side up. Oh. And I think almost didn't have that straight. I'm just trying to make sure that I have my frame part even with my base along the edges. Sorry, am I talking too quiet there? My son told me the other day he thinks I'm going deaf because I talk louder now than I ever did. And I said, I think I do that because your dad can't hear me. He said, no, I think you're going deaf. So now I'm being real conscious of how loud I'm talking. But I know on the videos, if I don't, then, you know, in comments I'll get, I couldn't hear you. So it's a fine line right now. And there is our pop-up window. Woohoo! Yay! It worked. Oh, I'm so happy it did. Now we can get our little pieces. I want to put, I'm here my Happy Easter. Oh, where did I put that one with the little, I think it was, oh, see, you can't see it. Right here where I cut over a little bit too far. Not that it matters because I really cannot see. And then we can just use our little tweezer thingies here. Whoops, I didn't get all my little bits punched out. There, a couple pieces. This is gonna go in here. And all the bazillion little pieces now can fall out. And I have an Easter basket. Boy, did I cut that one crooked. Thank goodness I did more than one. And my Easter basket. I kind of want it behind the grass, don't I? There. And an Easter handle, the basket handle. And I will I will make a little bow out of ribbon. There is a bow stamp in this set, and for the life of me, I could not get the die to match up to it. So I'm wondering if that die was just meant to be cut out on some other paper and then added. Okay, get my handle down in there so I could see it. My bunny. Oh, let me see. Yellow, pink. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Yellow, pink, or orange. And that orange bow stands out pretty nice on him. His little bow tie. Or do we want him over here with a carrot? That might be fun. because I do have a daffodil or two or three. And a stem. I told you we could make just a whole little scene going on here. Leaf. And then we'll put some eggs in our basket. If you have this set and you're die cutting, be aware that there are 2 different sizes of eggs. So there is, well actually there are 3. One die has like 4 or 5 eggs in a row. That's these little teeny tiny ones. He thinks he's going to get used. We'll put you on the front by the bunny. How's that? We'll put you down here. But yep, these are different sizes. So when you go to die cut your eggs out, you might say, oh, that's not fitting. Well, it's because there are 2 different sizes there. Let me see. How about, oh, you're cute. You're polka dots again, but that's okay. Put this one. And how's about all the ones I like are polka dots. Those little chickies here, and I forgot to color his beak in, so if we want to use a chickie, I'd have to color that real quick. Oh, there's a stripe. It's rather boring, though. There's one. It's more colorful. There's another little bunny stamp in here, too. It's more like a chocolate rabbit type to stamp and cut. Okay, let's see here. We're looking. Cute. And because the back of this card is solid and it was just plain cardstock, you can stamp additional messages or write your personal note on the back. Doesn't even have to get another piece of paper added to it. So I think this is where we're going with this. I'm going to look at it from the top and see. I'm kind of just trying to get my placement. I haven't glued any of these little die cuts down yet. I think I like it. All right. Let me see. Oh goodness. That's like enough for 400 flowers right there. I don't want me to squeeze you that hard. Easter Bunny. So I got this craft for the kids to do in religious ed for Easter. So I was doing one of them this morning, putting one together. And they're pretty, we have first grade, so they can't be too difficult. And everything that we use is usually self-adhesive, so we don't have to worry too much about glues and things like that. Although, oh, there's the little slit. That's why I didn't see it over there. It was the other side. Anyway, I was putting the one together. Where was I going with this? Oh, and it's a stained glass cross that says "He has risen." So I thought the "He has risen" part, the stained glass all has little sticker color pieces on there for them to just stick on the cross. And then the "He has risen" can be colored. Then I started thinking, I don't even know if I have crayons. No, and that's what they're going to use. I'm not going to, don't think I should trust them with alcohol markers. Only because if they have them pretty close, their mom and dad might not like it if they get alcohol ink on them. So I had to go look, and I found my son's Crayolas from grade school. So he saved the day. I think I have glue. Nope. And it came out kind of cute. Because they'll have to do their Easter craft on Palm Sunday, because we won't have class on Easter Sunday. Come here, little grassy piece. These little scraps were left over from card class that we had last week. Oh, I want to get the basket underneath that grass, didn't I? I didn't glue the top of this, so I'll be able to fit the Easter eggs on there. Okay. Good. If we get the handle, I'll show you their cards that they did in the, well, 2 of them, I think. Yeah, I think I mailed the other 2. So I need a little bit of glue on the top here for the handle to stick to the basket, and the handle to stick to the card base. Oh, they're little eggs. Boy, if you like working with miniature stuff, this is the one for you. Get that little stem. For a daffodil. Ah, it stuck in my finger. Off. Where'd my leaf go? So my alcohol markers that I used There's a whole array of colors here. I was using So Saffron and Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, light and dark for my stems and leaves. And I used a color lifter and gray. Which gray did I use? Light Smoky Slate to make a white bunny. You know what? I could use a dimensional and make this daffodil pop up. I didn't want to make these flowers pop up because I didn't want them sticking up too high on the front of the card, but I think the daffodil could handle a dimensional. Possibly an egg or two could do that too. Yeah, so you have to fit that under the pillar a little bit. Oh, but I'm not gonna, am I? Don't you dare. Come on. I didn't stick it down that far or that hard yet. Come on. There we go. Let's just trim a little bit off of that petal so it won't get hung up on the pillars. I hope. What other colors did I use? Oh, just I had fresh Freesia. Okay. And what was this? Rich Razzleberry. I was using Rich Razzleberry on some of the flowers. So this video is probably a little longer, isn't it? Oh yeah, we're almost at an hour. Time to hit the bricks here, huh? Get going. So we have Easter eggs everywhere here now. I've gone quiet on you, I'm sorry. I guess sometimes when I start realizing how long the video is getting, it makes me nervous and I want to hurry. And all I have left to do then is add a little bow on my basket handle. I thought I had a bow right here. I have a piece of green. I don't think it's a bow. Oh, it is a bow. How lucky can I get? I'm not sure I like that bow. It's okay, it just needed tidied up a little bit. Whoop. Maybe not. This I think I tried to do a triple bow out of this one and wasn't happy with it. That's why it's sitting here. And if I can get the little tail out, we'll just do a single one. And that would work much better. So I hope you like this card. I know it's a little out of order, but that's okay. It's one that we still needed to use. And so thoughts and prayers will be our next week card. But in the meantime, I did get one Easter card finished. Oh, several to go. Oh, my sister, I forgot. My sister sent me some good news. My nephew's getting married. He lives in Florida, and I haven't seen him for a very long time. I guess I'm just going to use a little dab of this, and if I have to get a glue dot afterwards, I will, but I don't want to reach down there right now and risk hitting the cord on my camera and freezing it up. So I'll go with this for right now. And then if the glue doesn't want to stick, I can fix it. So I'm excited. He's getting married. Yeah, I might have to get a glue dot. All right. Imagine that has a glue dot stuck on it. Pretend, because I don't have any up here. And you know what happens when I touch that. So here is our pop-up pillar window card that will lay flat to fit into your 5x7 envelope, everybody. So thanks for being with me, and I will see you hopefully again at the end of the week. If not, I'll try to get another card done for next week. Until then, take care, stay safe, and enjoy any nice weather that you might get. Bye!